This program contains graphic material, including offensive language. Viewer discretion is advised. A narcotics powerhouse that runs like a Fortune 500 company.
All we do is get money.
Once this cocaine epidemic came in, it turned everything around.
Yeah, GDP.
I was like, you know, man, I'm just gonna get filthy rich.
Getting money right now, 06.
The gangster disciples made millions by brutally punishing anyone who got in their way.
Either roll with the gang or they would roll over you.
They dominated the drug trade in cities across the Midwest.
It's like a cancer, it spreads. You got gangster disciples on every street corner.
Not since the days of Capone has a Chicago gang ruled with such bloodlust.
They only had one or two objectives: to sell drugs or hurt people.
They will assault you, beat you, shoot you, threaten your family, threaten your children.
It's killing season, Joe.
The more fear, you know, the more respect.
Oh, yes.
Torture, dismemberment, murder. It's strictly business for the GDs.
It's like that. It's real out here, man.
Their simple goal, more money and more power.
Their idea was you live fast, you die young, you have a good-looking corpse.
You see this heat? Like I got a million of these.
Gangland.
Milwaukee, January 1986. Two members of the Gangster Disciples slipped inside an after-hours club on the city's north side. 21-year-old Stan Cole led the way down to the basement, carrying a brown paper bag filled with almost $23,000 in cash. They were there to score a kilo of coke and believed they were on friendly turf. They were wrong.
It was like a drug deal go bad. Next thing you know, I remember a gun going off, and I'm looking to see who was the victim.
Cole glanced down at his stomach to find himself bleeding.
The shock and the trauma, it just hits your body. It's like a sledgehammer. Boom, your ears start ringing, and your balance is thrown off, and things start to slow down.
With the bullet lodged near his spine, Cole felt himself going numb. His friend grabbed him and dragged him outside to their car.
Once you get shot, you're not gonna feel a thing, but once that bullet decides to cool down inside of you, that's when a hell of a lot of pain starts to come.
As they sped to the hospital, Cole knew he was in serious trouble.
I lost a lot of blood. The smell of the blood is trauma enough because it smells like death.
Nothing speaks louder than bullets and Benjamins in the gangster underworld. And no other gang in Chicago, Milwaukee, or Detroit earns more cash than the Gangster Disciples, one of the most powerful crime organizations in the Midwest. The GDs built a drug empire that at its height racked up more than $100 million a year. They call Chicago their birthplace, and their founder, Larry Hoover, the chairman. This former GD, who we'll call Q, is currently behind bars on a weapons charge. Q said Hoover wanted to control not only Chicago's drug traffic, but also legitimate businesses.
Larry had a little philosophy: why carry a gun when you can carry a briefcase? Why wear a hat when you can wear a suit and tie? He was ultimately trying to turn us all into businessmen.
For 25 years, Hoover ruled his organization like a dictator. And the Gangster Disciples swelled to 30,000 members. He established a rigid chain of command and punished anyone who disobeyed his orders.
The discipline within the gang and the violence that occurred within the gang was as great as the violence they perpetrated on their rival gangs. Violence and intimidation in the GDs was essential for survival of the gang.
The GD's discipline, combined with the booming cocaine trade in the 1980s, vaulted them to power over their Chicago rivals, like the Vice Lords and the Mickey Cobras.
They were probably the strongest, fastest growing gang that I ever encountered. Their numbers just were astronomical.
The GDs recruited most of their young soldiers from the city's public housing projects, where gang life often provided easy cash.
Money is scarce, so when they're putting food on your table, you know, that's kind of big. You'll show loyalty to this person because he's making sure that you eat, you know what I'm saying?
Q says he worked as a shooter for the GDs when they battled their rivals for drug turf at the Cabrini Green housing projects.
For every person you shot, you get points, you know, and points added up to respect in the neighborhood and ultimately leadership position, you know.
Q claims he got hooked on shooting the first time he pulled a trigger, at age 12.
After that first shot, you off to the races from there. Because it's like, it builds up this euphoria in your brain. Now you geeked and you charged and it's a high.
Because every gang wanted to expand its territory, places like Cabrini Green turned into war zones, torn apart by sniper fire.
Every day, it was a constant tug of war over area. And the only way that you can keep somebody at bay is to keep applying pressure every day. And that's what I specialize in, applying pressure to them every day.